It is now about 1 o'clock afternoon. The temperature is 63 degrees in September. Look at the skies. The skies are clouded, heavy clouds, thunder, lightning. You ask yourself, why the skies are dark? Why do the clouds absorb radiation, absorb light, and make it so dark? While if you look at the water is transparent. The clouds are made from water. It's supposed to be transparent. The air is transparent, but it is not. What you see right now, the clouds can absorb the light, the solar radiation completely and make it very dark if they cover every spot in the sky in the way of the sun. The main reason the clouds are dark or opaque is because they are made of too many surfaces, too many particles. Every particle has a surface. If you look at the glass, you discover that the water droplets get together, clump together to make droplets. They don't just diffuse in the glass. Why? Is because of the interatomic forces that make the water separate from the air, separate from the glass, clump together by what we call it surface tension. Surface tension is nothing but a boundary between one medium and another. When the droplets of the clouds vary in dimension, diameters, depending on the evaporation and the temperature, the pressure of the air, what we call it the dew point. The dew point is the ability of the air to carry vapor or to condensate vapor into water droplets. When you have water droplets, you have too many surfaces between boundaries between one droplet and another. And you have the air interferes or carries these water droplets to make the clouds. So that when the light of the sun comes through the clouds, from one surface to another, it is reflected, refracted, transmitted, absorbed at the surface. Doesn't make any sense. You ask yourself why. Why does the light come at the surface of the water or anything and it changes its nature? It's simply when the light falls on a surface, depend on the nature of the surface, the electrons of the surface. If the surface is metallic, like mercury, iron, copper, the metallic surface has a lot of electrons on the surface, what we call it the conduction layer. The electrons oscillate with the light, absorb the light completely. So the light cannot go through a metallic surface. It's absorbed. It can radiate. That's why you make antenna out of metals. You make satellite discs out of metal. That's a different story. You have to make the geometry of the metal in a certain way such that when the light or the radiation falls on it, it can be reflected in the way you want it to be reflected. Design a satellite dish, you wanted the radiation that comes from your satellite to be focused on your receptor. The water is have little conductivity, so when the light falls on the surface has more electrons than the air. So the electrons of the water oscillate depending on the frequency of the light. Because the surface of the droplets, these droplets is curved. So the light will change its speed inside the medium that is in which it is reflected or refracted or penetrating. So when the speed of light in the medium it changes, the speed is a vector. So it have to have two components, a component parallel to the surface and a component perpendicular to the surface. This is the biggest trick in physics. When the light penetrates a surface, it it is treated as a vector. There is a vector of propagation, that is the direction of spread of the light, and the surface vector, that is the normal to the surface of the water droplet. Inside the water droplet, the light will have two components of that vector: speed parallel to the surface and speed perpendicular. Outside the water droplet in the air, the light will have two components. Both of them are perpendicular to the vector of propagation of the light. That is why the light in water changes its direction. If you stand in front of a pond, or if you have at home a bucket of water, put a mirror in the bottom or put any object in the water, you discover that the object has different dimensions visibly. It's a delusion, but the surface of the bucket of water will become closer to you than if the bucket has no water. If you are swimming underwater, you cannot see things outside the water in the same ratios that we see them right now. That explains why the clouds are darker when they are supposed to be transparent.